There's this group we've talked about that has not received enough attention called the Wagner Group that Vladimir Putin works with, particularly when he wants to commit the worst kind of atrocities. I think it's very important that we step back a little bit, take some time, and educate ourselves. What is this Wagner Group? And nobody better than Georgetown University professor of strategy, Sean McFate. Sean McFate, I read your piece in The Hill. It was really eye-opening to me. It says Germany's intelligence agency intercepted radio traffic recently, confirming the notorious Russian mercenary unit, the Wagner Group, played a leading role in the war crimes at Bucha. Professor, what is this group, its ties to Putin, and what is their mission?
So the Wagner Group has been Putin's weapon of choice for the last, say, 8 years, since like 2013-14. And what it is, these are mercenaries. And they don't work for the Russian military. They are recruited from ex-Russian military and from around Russian, like the former Soviet Union. And they do the Kremlin's dirty work for Putin. They're completely owned by an oligarch. And if they get, and one of the missions that they do is commit atrocities.
And they seem to be doing a hell of a good job of it lately in Ukraine. What are their numbers? About how many of them are there, if you know?
We don't know exactly. So I've talked to several Wagner Group, I've talked to a few Wagner Group members, actually. And they would estimate that about 10 to 15,000 members have passed through their doors since 2014. But it's hard to know at any given time how many there are. The numbers range from 5 to 10,000, and many of them are, they're trigger pullers, and many of them have special, like Russian special forces, Spetsnaz backgrounds. But, their numbers have been dwindling in Ukraine recently, too.
And why is that? They're getting killed?
Yeah, so they're being whacked. So Putin used the Wagner Group as a fifth column. So we started to see they've been used in Africa and the Middle East for the Kremlin's purposes. And they are not, again, they're not Russian soldiers. They are used to do the dirty work, and they work for oil as well. But right before the war in Ukraine started, many of them left Africa, and we expected them to be redeployed, and sure enough, they were. They were in Kiev and Kharkiv and other places, operating in small teams like 5-man elements in plain clothes. Their missions were to sabotage and Ukrainian infrastructure, to help pave the way for the Ukrainian tanks. They had a kill list of political leadership they would try to kill or capture, or in some cases, like in Bucha, they would massacre civilians as a way to coerce the Ukrainian population. And now that we're seeing Russia do more of this, Putin is now shifting away from sort of conventional warfare into flattening cities and massacring people. And this is what the Wagner Group specializes in.
Well, we just read a mass grave of 9,000 people. We're reading about the movement of tens of thousands of Ukrainians into Russia, like Stalin and Hitler pulling these people in, enslaving them and so forth. We're looking at all this, and then we read about the most sickening kind of torture and rape. And as I read your piece and I listen to you now, it's not just the Russian regular army. It's these guys who are doing this sort of thing. Has the United States ever taken affirmative steps to deal with this group, given the fact that it's been used by Putin all over the world?
Yeah, this is the central question. So the reason why Putin has come to use mercenaries as his weapon of choice is because our intelligence community, like the CIA and others, they don't track these groups. They track, Russians, Chinese, Iranians, terrorists, but they don't track mercenaries, and they don't track the Wagner, which makes them an ideal instrument for Putin. Because if you want to wage war in secret, and you want to wage war that could get very dirty very fast, you use these units because you know the agency is not looking for them. Now, what we should be doing is we should step our intelligence collection on where the Wagner Group is operating now in Ukraine and other places. They're looking to work in Sudan. They've been working in Syria for a while, in Libya, all over the place. And the reason why the Wagner Group is so valuable to Putin is that they provide good, plausible deniability. So, if they get caught massacring a village, Putin could say, hey, it wasn't me, it wasn't the army, it was these rogue mercenaries. And which, of course, is completely false. I mean, these guys are working on the orders of the Kremlin and the GRU, military intelligence, et cetera. So what we need to do is, if you want to put a stop to this, one of two things. One, if they live off of plausible deniability, create implausible deniability. Our intelligence community can easily track some of these guys and shine the light on them. So, at that point, they're kind of useless to Putin. They only have value to Putin if they can sneak around in the shadows. Let's turn on the spotlight, take the shadows out, and that's okay. They'll sort of disappear. Putin doesn't need them anymore. But more importantly, I would say is this: we need to consider getting more aggressive. So if Putin says, hey, if we find out there's a bunch of Wagner Group guys in Ukraine or in Mali or wherever in the world, and Putin says they're not there, well, then who will miss them if they disappear? Maybe we should take them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or find people to take them out.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to levintv.com and subscribe now.